Good day everyone. Today we will be presenting a report on solar thermal energy, also known as concentrating solar power or CSP. This presentation will discuss what CSP is, how it works, its importance as a renewable energy source, as well as its advantages and disadvantages. Concentrated solar power, also called concentrating solar power or concentrated solar thermal. It involves systems that collect solar heat for multiple purposes like cooking, desalination, or the generation of electric solar power by using mirrors to concentrating a large area of sunlight toward a receiver. Solar thermal energy is a renewable energy technology that uses heat from the sun to generate electricity. Unlike solar panels, which directly convert sunlight into electricity, CSP system first collects sunlight and convert it into heat. This heat is then used to produce electricity through turbines and generators, similar to traditional power plants. In simple terms, CSP works by using mirrors to concentrate sunlight onto a specific point. When sunlight is concentrated, it produces very high temperature. This heat is used to warm a fluid, which eventually produces steam. The steam spins a turbine, and the turbine generates electricity. Solar thermal energy is important because it helps reduce our dependence on fossil fuels such as coal, oil, and natural gas. By using the sun as natural and renewable resources, it helps reduce dependence on fossil fuels and lowers greenhouse gas emissions. This technology is especially effective in areas that receive strong and direct sunlight, making it suitable for large-scale electricity production. It also supports energy security by using a natural resources that is freely available. CSP systems are usually built in areas that receive strong and direct sunlight, such as deserts and open plains. Countries with high solar potential use CSP to produce large amounts of electricity, especially for industrial and commercial use. Now that we have a basic understanding of what solar thermal energy is and why it is important, the next part of the presentation will discuss one of the main CSP technologies, which is the parabolic through system.
Let's talk about parabolic drop system. Ang parabolic drop system ay ang isa sa pinaka-common at pinaka-use na type ng solar thermal system. Ang parabolic drops system ay kabilang sa technology na tinatawag na concentrating solar power or CSP. Ang CSP ay gumagamit ng mirrors para i-concentrate ang sunlight instead na diretso gawing electricity like solar panels. Ito, ginagawa muna siyang heat, tapos yung heat ang gumagamit para gumawa ng electricity. Ano ba ang parabolic traps? Ang parabolic traps ay ginatawag ding line focus collector. May mahaba itong curved mirror na hugis parabola. Yung shape niya, importante kasi lahat ng sunlight na tatama sa mirror ay marereflect papunta sa isang receiver pipe na nasa gitna. Imagine natin parang malaking salamin na curve, tapos lahat ng liwanag ng araw pinagsasama-sama sa isang linya. Ang concentrator ng sunlight dito ay maabot ng 30 to 100 times stronger kaysa sa normal na sunlight. So, isa-isahin natin ang mga parts ng parabolic traps. Una, solar drawing system. Isa sa important feature nito ay ang single axis drawing system. Ibig sabihin, umiikot lang siya from east to west para sundan ang galaw ng araw. Hindi siya dual axis tulad ng solar tower. Mas simple ang design nito, mas madali i-maintain. Next is heat transfer fluid. Sa loob ng receiver pipe, may dumadaloy na liquid na tinatawag na heat transfer fluid o HTF. Kapag tinamaan ng concentrated sunlight ang pipe, umiinit ang HTF hanggang umabot ng around 400 degrees Celsius. Next is steam turbine at electricity generation. Yung steam papasok ngayon sa turbine. Ang steam turbine ay gumagamit ng Rankine cycle para ma-convert ng heat energy into mechanical energy. Ganito ang process. Pagpasok ng high pressure steam sa turbine, iikot ang turbine blades at ang turbine ay connected sa generator. Yung generator naman ang gagawa ng electricity. Pagkatapos gamitin ng steam, co-condense ulit siya para maging water para ma-reuse. Yung HTF naman ay tuloy-tuloy lang sa circulation ng system. Last is thermal energy storage. Isa sa pinakamalaking advantage ng parabolic traps ay ang thermal energy storage. Sa daytime, kapag malakas ang araw, pwede mag-store ng extra heat sa insulated tanks. Pwede itong gamitin sa gabi, kapag maulap, kapag mahina ang sikat ng araw. Ibig sabihin, kahit walang araw, pwede pa rin gumawa ng electricity, unlike sa regular na solar panels. May mga power plants sa mundo na gumagamit ng parabolic traps. Halimbawa nito ay ang Mahaube Solar Project and Solana Generating Station. Malaki itong plants na kaya mag-generate ng hundreds of megawatts na electricity.
Magandang araw po sa inyong lahat. Ako nga po pala si John Michael A. De Rosario at ngayon ay tatalakayin natin ang tungkol sa heat transfer fluids o HTF at energy storage sa concentrated solar power systems o kaya CSP. Ang mga pangunahing teknolohiya na bibigay daan upang maging mas efficient ang paglipat ng init at tuloy-tuloy ang mga paggawa ng kuryente kahit wala ng sikat ng araw. Hindi tulad ng karaniwang solar panels na direktang ginagawang kuryente ang liwanag ng araw, ang solar thermal systems ay gumagamit muna ng init bago makalikha ng kuryente. Dahil dito, napakahalaga ng tamang paghawak at pag-imbak ng init. Dito pumapasok ang heat transfer fluids at thermal energy storage. Ang heat transfer fluid o HTF ay isang likido o gas na espesyal na disenyo upang sumipsip, magdala at maglipat ng thermal energy o init sa loob ng isang solar thermal power plant. Sa CSP systems, ganito naman ang proseso. Ang sikat ng araw ay kinokonsentra gamit ang mga salamin. Tapos, tumatama ito sa receiver. Tapos, sinisipsip ng HTF ang init. Tapos, dadalaw ito yung may fluid papunta sa heat exchanger. Tapos, yung tubig na naging singaw ay papaikutin yung turbine. At ang turbine ang gagawa ng kuryente. Ang HTF ay umiikot sa isang closed loop system. Ibig sabihin, paulit-ulit lang na dumadaloy sa sistema. Sumisisip ng init, nililipat, lumalamig at walang bumabalik para maulit ang proseso. Kung walang HTF, hindi magiging efficient ang paglipat ng init mula sa solar receiver papunta sa power block. May iba't ibang uri ng heat transfer fluids na ginagamit sa CSP systems. Ang karaniwang halimbawa ay hangin, tubig, synthetic oils, molten salts, glycol-based at glycerol-based na fluids. Bawat halimbawa ay may iba't ibang kakayahan pagdating sa temperatura. Halimbawa, ang synthetic oil ay may kakayahang umabot hanggang humigit kumulang na 400 degrees Celsius. Ang molten salt naman ay magkakayahang umabot hanggang 550 degrees Celsius. So, bakit nga ba mahalaga ang mataas na temperatura? Dahil kapag mas mataas ang operating temperature, mas mataas din ang temperatura ng singaw. Ay kapag mas mainit ang singaw, mas mataas ang efficiency ng turbine ayon sa prinsipyo ng thermodynamics. So, sa madaling salita, mas mataas ang temperatura, mas mataas ang efficiency, ay ibig sabihin mas maraming kuryente mula sa parehong pagsikat ng araw. Kaya mas pinipili sa mga modernong CSP plants ang mga molten salt para sa mas mataas sa performance. Hindi basta-basta pumipili ang mga engineer ng heat transfer fluid. May mga mahalagang salik silang sinusuri tulad ng saklaw ng operating temperature, thermal stability, at sa mas taas na init, kakayahan sa heat transfer, kakayahan sa energy storage, kaligtasan at epekto sa kapaligiran, at gastos at tibay sa mahabang panahon. Halimbawa, ang fluid ay hindi dapat madaling masira o mag-degrade kahit matagal na nakalantad sa mataas na temperatura. Dapat din itong maging efficient sa paglipat ng init at ligtas gamitin. May mga fluid na mahusay ngunit masyadong mahal. Mayroon namang mas mura pero mas panganib sa kaligtasan. Kaya ang tamang pagpili ng HTF ay direktang nakaapekto sa efficiency, reliability, maintenance cost, at haba ng buhay ng planta. Ang isang malaking advantage ng mga CSP systems kumpara sa ibang solar photovoltaic systems ay ang kakayahan nitong mag-imbak ng enerhiya sa anyo ng init. Sa maraming modernong CSP plants, ang molten salts ay ginagamit bilang heat transfer fluids at heat at thermal energy storage medium. Ganito ang proseso. Sa umaga at tanghali, kapag malakas ang sikat ng araw, ang sobrang init ay iniimbak sa malaking insulated tanks na may lamang mainit na molten salts. Sa gabi naman, o kaya kapag maulap, ang nakaimbak na init ay ginagamit upang makalikha pa rin ng singaw at pagdaan ng turbine. Ibig sabihin, maaari pa rin magagawa ng kuryente kahit walang sikat ng araw. Napakalaga ng heat transfer fluids at energy storage dahil pinapagana nila ang high temperature operation, pinapataas nila ang thermodynamic efficiency, binabawasan nila ang power fluctuations, pinapabuti nila ang grid stability, at ginagawang mas maasahan ang large-scale solar power. Kung walang HTF, hindi maayos na malilipat ang mga init. Kung walang storage, gagana lamang ang solar thermal plant kapag may sikat ng araw. Sa buwan, ang HTF at energy storage ang dahilan kung bakit mas naging practical, efficient, at maasahan ang mga modernong solar thermal power systems.
Good day everyone, I'm Julian Miel S. Pangilinan and I'm here to present about solar power. Kapag sinabing solar energy, ang unang pumapasok sa isip natin ay solar panel sa bubong ng bahay. Pero may isa pang solar technology na mukhang galing sa future. Isang napakataas na tower na napapalibutan ng libo-libong salamin na lahat ay nakatutok sa iisang point. Ang tawag dito ay solar powered tower o central receiver solar thermal plant. Hindi ito tulad ng ordinaryong solar panels na direktang ginagawang electricity ang sunlight. Sa system na ito, ginagawang sobrang init muna ang sikat ng araw bago ito i-convert into electricity. Sa video na to, aalamin natin kung paano gumagana ang solar powered tower at ano-ano ang pangunahing parts nito. Ang solar power tower ay kabilang sa tinatawag na concentrated solar power o CSP. Ang concept niya ay simple lang, i-focus ang sunlight sa maliit na area para makagawa ng napakataas na temperature. Sa paligid ng tower, may libo-libong salamin na tinatawag na heliostats. Ang mga salamin na ito ay sumusunod sa galaw ng araw mula sa umaga hanggang hapon. Imbis na kumalat ang sunlight, lahat ng ilaw ay pinapatalbog papunta sa tuktok ng tower. Dahil concentrated ang energy, umaabot ng mahigit 500 degrees Celsius ang temperature. Ang init na ito ang ginagamit para pakuluan ang tubig at gumawa ng steam. Ang steam papaikutin ng turbine, ang turbine papaikutin ang generator, at ang generator ang gagawa ng electricity. So, ang process ay sunlight, heat, steam, ikot, at kuryente. Next, let's proceed to the main components. First, the heliostats, the sun tracking mirrors. Ito ang pinaka-visible na part ng planta. Libo-libong salamin ang naka-arrange paikot sa tower. Bawat isa may motor at computer control para sundan ang araw buong maghapon. Habang gumagalaw ang araw, gumagalaw din ang mga salamin para siguradong sa receiver laging tumatama ang ilaw. Parang giant reflector system siya na pinagsasama-sama ang lahat ng solar energy sa iisang spot. Kung wala ang heliostat, hindi magiging sapat ang init para makapag-generate ng kuryente. Next is the solar receiver. Sa pinakataas ng tower, makikita ang receiver. Dito tumatama lahat ng reflected sunlight. Sa loob nito may dumadaloy na espesyal na liquid, kadalasan molten salt. Kapag tinamaan ng concentrated sunlight, umiinit ang molten salt hanggang sobrang taas ng temperature. Kailangang matibay ang materyales dito dahil extreme ang heat na na-experience. Mas mainit ang salt, mas maraming energy ang pwedeng gamitin. Next is the molten salt storage system. Pagkatapos uminit sa receiver, ililipat ang molten salt sa storage tank. Ang tank na ito ay parang thermal battery. Kaya niyang i-store ang init ng mas maraming oras nang hindi agad lumalamig. Kapag kailangan gumawa ng kuryente, dadaan ang mainit na salt sa heat exchanger. Doon niya iinitan ang tubig para maging high pressure steam. Next is the steam generator at turbine. Ang steam papasok sa turbine dahil sa pressure. Iikot ang turbine blades ng mabilis. Ang turbine na nakakabit sa generator habang umiikot ang generator. Nagiging electrical energy ang mechanical energy. Pagkatapos lumamig ang steam, babalik ito sa tubig at uulit-ulitin ang cycle. Pareho ito ng process sa coal at nuclear plant. Pero ang fuel dito ay araw. Let's proceed to the daily operation. Sa umaga, nagsisimulang mag-align ang mga salamin sa araw. Unti-unting iinit ang molten salt habang tumataas ang sikat ng araw. Pagsapit ng tanghali, maximum temperature na at tuloy-tuloy na ang paggawa ng steam. Habang papalubog ang araw, ginagamit pa rin ang nakastore na init para makagawa ng steam. Automatic ding nagre-reset ang mga salamin pagkatapos ng sunset para ready ulit kinabukasan. Lahat ng galaw ng system ay kontrolado ng computers para safe at efficient ang operation.
Good day everyone! Today, I'll be discussing solar thermal energy. We focused on two important technologies, the linear Fresnel reflector or LFR and its improved version, the compact linear Fresnel reflector, also known as compact LFR. Solar thermal energy is different from solar photovoltaic system. Instead of a direct converting sunlight into electricity, solar thermal system uses sunlight to produce heat, which is then used to generate electricity or industrial heating. Let's start with linear Fresnel reflector. So, what is it? This is a solar thermal power technology that uses a long, flat, and slightly curved mirror arranged in a parallel rows on the ground. These mirrors track the movement of the sun and reflect sunlight towards a fixed receiver located above the mirror. Unlike parabolic through system, which gumagamit ng curved mirror, ang LFR system ay mas simple dahil ang gamit na lang ay flat mirrors. Mas cheaper and easier to manufacture itong LFR. Next, how does LFR works? So here is the step-by-step process. First on our list is sunlight hits the mirror placed on the ground. Second step, the mirror rotates slightly to follow the sun throughout the day. Third is, the mirrors reflect sunlight towards a receiver tube mounted above the mirror field. So fourth on our list is, inside this receiver tube, meron itong heat transfer fluid such as water or oil or molten salt. Fifth is ang concentrated sunlight hits the fluid to very high temperature. And lastly, final step, the hot fluid is used to produce steam, then which drives a turbine connected to a generator to produce electricity. So, ganun lang kadali ang process nitong LFR. The main component of an LFR system. So, first component ay flat or slightly curved mirror. Meron din tayong tracking system, automatic sun tracking system. Next, meron din tayong elevated receiver tubes. Meron tayong heat transfer fluid. Ito mahalaga din. Meron din tayong steam generator. And last, turbine and electrical generator. Dahil ang receiver ay fixed and yung mga mirror yung gumagalaw, ang LFR system have a simpler mechanical design compared to other solar thermal technologies. So, what are the advantages of this LFR? So, they have lower construction cost due to simpler model or kasi simple mirror design lang siya. Second, they use less land compared to parabolic through system. Third, they are easier to maintain because the mirrors are close to the ground. Last is, they can be used for both power generation and industrial process heat, such as desalination or food processing. What is compact linear Fresnel reflector? So let's move to this compact LFR. So this is the advanced and improved design of the traditional LFR system. It was developed to address efficiency and land use limitations. The key difference is that compact LFR system uses multiple receivers and closely packed mirror rows, allowing more sunlight to be captured and concentrated efficiently. How does compact LFR works? The principle behind this The principle is similar to standard LFR, but with improvements, such as sunlight is reflected by closely spaced mirrors. Instead of focusing on the single receiver, the mirrors direct sunlight towards multiple elevated receiver tubes. This arrangement reduces shading losses and improves optical efficiency. The heat transfer fluid inside the receivers absorb more thermal energy. The collected heat is then used to generate steam and then produces electricity. Because of this compact layout, there are more energy generated from the same land area. The main features of this compact LFR includes multiple receiver tubes, tightly packed mirror layout, higher concentration efficiency, reduces thermal losses, and better land utilization. Compact LFR systems are designed to maximize heat output while minimizing space and material uses. So now let's compare the LFR versus the compact LFR. To better understand the difference, uh, tingnan natin ang tingnan muna natin ang LFR. So, LFR uses a single receiver. Meron din siyang okay, hindi, wag. Again. So now let's compare LFR versus the compact LFR para mas maintindihan natin yung ano bang pinagkaiba nila. So, the LFR uses a single receiver while compact LFR uses multiple receivers. LFR again have a wider mirror spacing. The compact LFR have tighter mirror spacing. So mas onti yung space, mas nagagamit yung land area. So ang LFR ay lower sa efficiency compared to compact. Then syempre is compact LFR mas higher ang thermal efficiency. So last, ang LFR lower cost and simpler design. Ang compact LFR naman ay merong better land and energy utilization. Both system follows the same principle, but compact LFR improves performance and efficiency. Ang application ng LFR and compact LFR ito ang isa sa mga system na ginagamit sila. Number 1 is solar thermal power plants, industrial steam generation, desalination plants, district heating system. They are especially suitable for sun-rich regions with large open land areas. Ano nga ba ang mga challenges nitong LFR? Despite their advantages, LFR and compact LFR systems have faced challenges such as lower efficiency compared to solar tower system, dependence on direct sunlight, and high initial investment cost. Last, need for precise alignment and tracking. However, continuous research and development are improving their performance and reducing cost. So in conclusion to all of what I've said, linear Fresnel reflector and compact linear Fresnel reflector plays an important role in solar thermal energy systems. LFR offers a cost-effective and simple design for converting sunlight into thermal energy. Compact LFR enhances this design by improving efficiency, land use, and energy output. As the demand for clean and sustainable energy increases, these technologies have strong potential to contribute to future renewable energy systems, especially in industrial and large-scale applications. Thank you for listening.
Now, I will be discussing the parabolic dish solar thermal system, including its working process, the role of the Stirling engine, its advantages and disadvantages compared to other CSP technologies, and the major solar thermal power plants in the world. The parabolic dish system is a type of concentrated solar power or CSP technology that uses a dish-shaped mirror to focus sunlight in a single focal point. Unlike line focus systems, this technology concentrates sunlight at one point, resulting in very high temperatures. It uses a Stirling engine to convert thermal energy into electricity. The system follows the sun using dual axis tracking, meaning it moves both vertically and horizontally to maximize solar capture. Each disk operates independently, making it modular in design. Let us now discuss the working process step by step. First, solar tracking. The dish continuously follows the sun using dual tracking system to ensure maximum sunlight exposure throughout the day. Second, solar concentration. The curved parabolic mirrors reflect and concentrate sunlight onto a receiver located at the focal point of the dish. Third, heat generation. The receiver absorbs the concentrated solar energy and reaches temperatures that can go up to 700 to 800 degrees Celsius. Fourth, Stirling engine operation. The heat from the receiver is transferred to a working gas, usually hydrogen or helium, inside the Stirling engine. The gas expands when heated and pushes the piston. When it cools, it contracts, and this continuous expansion and contraction creates mechanical motion. Finally, electricity generation. The mechanical motion from the piston drives a generator, which produces electricity. The Stirling engine. The Stirling engine is an external combustion engine, meaning the heat source is outside the engine itself. In this system, solar heat is applied to the engine's receiver. The working gas inside the engine expands when heated and contracts when cooled. This cyclic process moves a piston back and forth, converting thermal energy into mechanical energy. The mechanical energy is then directly connected to a generator to produce electricity. The Stirling engine is known for its high efficiency compared to other small-scale heat engines. Compared to other CSP technologies like parabolic trough and linear Fresnel, the parabolic dish system has several advantages. It achieves the highest operating temperature because it uses point focus concentration. Higher temperatures means higher efficiency. It is modular, meaning each unit can operate independently, which makes it suitable for remote or off-grid areas. Additionally, since it uses a Stirling engine instead of a steam turbine, it does not require water for steam generation. Despite its advantages, the parabolic dish system also has disadvantages. It has a higher cost per kilowatt because each dish requires its own engine and generator. Maintenance can be complex due to many moving mechanical parts. It is also not widely deployed commercially compared to CSP types. Additionally, integrating large-scale thermal storage is more challenging. In comparison, parabolic trough systems use line-focus mirrors and steam turbines, making them suitable for large power plants. Linear Fresnel systems are cheaper but operate at lower temperatures and lower efficiency. Currently, the largest solar thermal power plants in the world uses parabolic trough or power tower technologies rather than parabolic dish systems. The Mohammed bin Rashid Al Maktoum Solar Park in the UAE has around 700 megawatts of CSP capacity. The Quarzazay Solar Power Station in Morocco produces about 510 megawatts. The Ibn Fa Solar Power Facility in the United States generates approximately 392 megawatts, and the Solana Generating Station in Arizona produces about 280 megawatts with thermal storage capability. These large-scale projects demonstrate that while parabolic dish systems are highly efficient, parabolic trough and power tower systems are currently more suitable for utility-scale power generation.
So ngayon, pag-uusapan naman natin ay isang important renewable energy technology na tinatawag na concentrated solar power o mas kilala bilang CSP. Sa panahon ngayon, habang lumalala ang climate change at tumataas ang demand ng kuryente, kailangan natin ng mas malinis at sustainable na energy sources. Isa sa mga promising solution ay ang CSP. Sa lesson na ito, tatalakayin natin ang advantages ng CSP, disadvantages nito, and conclusion kung bakit mahalaga ito sa future energy. Simulan natin sa mga advantages. Advantages ng concentrated solar power. Una, renewable and sustainable. Una sa lahat, renewable at sustainable ang CSP. Galing ito sa araw at ang solar energy ay halos unlimited. Hindi ito mauubos tulad ng coal, oil at natural gas. Habang may araw, may energy tayong magagamit. Dahil dito, nababawasan ng dependence natin sa fossil fuels na nakadadagdag sa pollution at climate change. Pangalawa, may energy storage capability. Isa sa pinakamalaking advantage ng CSP ay ang energy storage. Hindi tulad ng ordinary solar panels na direktang gumagawa ng electricity, ang CSP gumagamit ng mirrors para i-concentrate ang sunlight at gawing heat. Ang heat na ito ay ini-store kadalasan gamit ang molten salt. Ang maganda dito, pwedeng gamitin ang stored energy heat para gumawa ng electricity kahit gabi o maulap. Ibig sabihin, mas reliable ito sa traditional na solar panels na tumitigil kapag wala ng araw. Pangatlo, low greenhouse gas emission. Isa pang advantage ay mababa ang greenhouse gas emissions nito. Habang nag-ooperate ang CSP plant, hindi ito nagsusunog ng fossil fuels, kaya mas kaunti ang carbon dioxide at harmful gases na napupunta sa atmosphere. Malaking tulong ito sa paglaban sa climate change at sa pag-improve ng air quality. Ang apat, suitable for large-scale generations. Ang CSP ay bagay para sa large-scale electricity production. Hindi ito parang isang bahay lang. Karaniwan, malaki ang CSP plants at kaya nitong mag-supply ng kuryente sa libu-libong households. Halimbawa, ang Ivanpah Solar Electricity Generating System ay isang malaking CSP plant na nagsusupply ng electricity sa grid. Kaya ideal ito para i-utility scale power generation. Panglima, high efficiency at high temperatures. Ang CSP ay lalo na ang solar tower systems ay nag-ooperate sa very high temperatures. Kapag mas mataas ang temperature, mas efficient ang conversion ng heat into electricity. Dahil dito, mas advanced ang technology ng CSP at may potential pang mas mapabuti ang efficiency sa future. Pang-anim, it creates jobs and support green economy. Hindi lang environmental benefits ang dala ng CSP. May economic benefits din. Ang pag-build at pag-maintain ng CSP plants ay nag-create ng jobs sa engineering, construction, manufacturing, at maintenance. Nakakatulong ito sa pag-develop ng green economy at sa pag-promote ng renewable energy investments. Ngayon naman, pag-usapan naman natin ang mga disadvantages. Disadvantages lang ng CSP is 1. High initial cost. Ang pinakamalaking disadvantages ng CSP ay ang mataas na initial cost. Mahal ang pag-construct ng CSP plant dahil kailangan ng malaking mirrors, tracking systems, turbines at thermal storage systems. Malaki ang kapital na kailangan bago ito maipatayo. Kaya minsan nagiging challenge ito lalo na sa developing countries. Pangalawa, require a large land area. Kailangan ng CSP ng malaking lupain. Dahil gumagamit ito ng maraming mirrors para mag-concentrate ng sunlight. Kadalasan, ito ay tinatayo sa malawak at open areas gaya ng deserts. Halimbawa, maraming CSP plants ang nasa Mojave deserts. Ang malaking land requirement na ito ay maaaring makaapekto sa land use at available space. Pangatlo, needs strong direct sunlight. Kailangan ng CSP ng strong at direct sunlight. Hindi ito gaanong effective sa mga lugar na madalas maulap o maulan. Hindi tulad ng solar panels na pwede pa rin gumana kahit indirect sunlight ang Ang CSP ay mas dependent sa direct solar radiation, kaya limitado ang locations kung saan ito pwedeng itayo. Pang-apat, water consumption. Isa pang disadvantages ng CSP ay ang paggamit ng tubig. Maraming CSP plants ang gumagamit ng water cooling systems katulad ng traditional plants sa mga desert areas kung saan kadalasan tinatayo ang CSP. Maaaring maging issue ang water scarcity. May dry cooling options naman, pero mas mahal ito at minsan mas mababa ang efficiency. 5. Possible environmental impact. Bagamat mas malinis ito kumpara sa fossil fuels, may environmental impact pa rin ang CSP. Ang malaking land use ay maaaring makadisturb ng wildlife habitats. Sa ilang kaso, ang high-temperature solar towers ay nakakaapekto sa mga ibon na napapalapit sa concentrated sunlight beams. Kaya mahalaga ang proper environmental planning bago magtayo ng CSP plant. In conclusion, ang concentrated solar power ay isang reliable at sustainable renewable energy technology na nagko-convert ng sunlight into electricity gamit ang heat. Ang pinakamalaking advantage nito ay ang thermal energy storage na nagbibigay daan para makapag-produce ng electricity kahit walang araw. Marami itong benefits, kagaya na lang ng mga nabanggit natin na renewable at environmental friendly, suitable para sa large-scale power generation, nakakatulong sa pagbawas ng greenhouse gas emissions, at sumusuporta sa green economy. And yung challenges din nito is mataas ang initial cost, malaki ang land requirement, dependent sa strong sunlight. May water consumption issues at may posibleng environmental impacts. Ganun pa man, sa kabila ng mga disadvantages na ito, nananatiling promising ang CSP bilang solution sa large-scale clean energy production. Habang patuloy na nag-i-improve ang technology at kung mababa ang cost, maaaring mas maging mahalaga ang CSP sa pag-reduce ng dependence natin sa fossil fuels at sa pagbuo ng mas sustainable na future.